Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Just going to take you through a little min-max gear analysis here in terms of where to get your stats for your gear. I did a little bit of math and made some interesting discoveries. I've been playing since beta, and a couple of these things were kind of surprising to me. I will go through some general conclusions that I've come to. Some of them you probably know, some of them you may not know. And then after that, I'm going to show you how I kind of mathematically came to these conclusions. All right, so let's get into it. So, first up, some obvious conclusions. If you're a newer player, these should be helpful for you. If you're an experienced player, an endgame player, you probably know most of this already, okay? But number one, never use an accuracy or resist chest piece. It's just not an efficient use of stats, okay? Number two, never use an attack amulet. If you're an offensive type champion, you're going to want crit damage there instead of an attack amulet. Rare cases like maybe Lord Shazar, where you're really trying to maximize those bombs, maybe, but generally speaking, that's no go. Never use attack percentage gloves. Same reason, you're going to put crit percent or crit damage there, and we'll talk about that later on. Okay. Always use a crit damage amulet if you're going for crit damage. Otherwise, you want defense or HP on your amulet. Okay, but if you are trying to maximize damage, you want crit damage on your amulet always. Okay. Always use an accuracy or resist banner if you need accuracy or resist. It's a very efficient place to get this stat. Okay. And of course, rings and amulets can be used to boost non-main stats. And what I mean by that is, say you have like a Rosin Scarhide, who's a defense-based champion. If you want to boost his his HP a little bit, right, to improve survivability, doing it using rings and amulets is a great place to get that stat, because it's not a percentage stat, it's a flat stat, right? So if you want a little bit of HP in your Rosin or whatever your defense champion is, then go HP, or vice versa. Like if you got a Harvest Jack, like on my Harvest Jack, I've got his HP over 100k, but he's using defense on his ring just to get a little bit of flat defense there, because his base defense is very low survivability. So these are the obvious conclusions. If you're a new player, again, maybe you'll find some of this information helpful when gearing your champs. And we're talking min-max here, right? So if you're a new player and you're using 3-star gear, 4-star gear and everything, don't worry too much. Just kind of use what you've got. I'm talking about what's worth investing in, and kind of towards the mid to end game, some rules to abide by in order to maximize the total stats you get, and maximizing your stat efficiency, right? Okay, moving on to the not so obvious conclusions here. So using substats to get required speed is ideal. So a lot of people have been doing this for clan boss, for example, like going defense percentage boots and then just getting your speed where it needs to be using substats, and it does give you a small edge, or as long as you're not sacrificing other things, and we'll get to that in the math part. But yeah, it is actually a little bit better. It's not a huge difference compared to some of these other things though, but it is a little bit better, okay? Avoid accuracy substats if possible. This one was a little bit surprising to me. Accuracy is difficult to compare because it is like a flat stat all the time. But accuracy as a substat is not efficient. Okay, this one surprised me a lot. I've got a lot of my clan boss champions using like, double roll or triple roll pieces, where I have double or triple roll accuracy pieces to get that accuracy I needed. And what I will show you in the math, if you want to stick around and check it out, is that it's actually really, really inefficient to use accuracy substats. So you want to just get your accuracy from your banner, from your Great Hall bonus, as well as the next best place to get accuracy by far is going to be through a set bonus, right? Which is kind of interesting, okay? So avoid crit damage substats if possible. Now again, guys, this one is pretty obvious. If you look at the possible range of like rolls you can get for crit rate versus crit damage, as a substat, you get the same number percentage. So example, like 5% crit rate, 5% crit damage, right? It's the same range of possible rolls. So it's pretty obvious there. Because, you know, on gloves, you get more crit damage than you get crit rate. On set bonuses, you get more crit damage than you get crit rate. So it is just fairly logical. But I'll show you just how inefficient that this substat is. Okay, so crit damage as a substat is not good. It's not good. Okay. Am I saying you should throw every piece with crit damage on it? No. This is a min-max guide, right? So what I'm going to show you is you want to get crit rate from substats, and then go crit damage gloves, crit damage amulet, and then maybe a little bit extra from substats. But when you're getting like those double, triple rolls on crit damage, I used to be like, yeah, that's awesome. It's not. It's not. It's not efficient at end game, and we're talking end game min max here, guys. Okay, so I'm trying to give you some real kind of min max picky, get that, squeeze that extra little bit out of stats. Okay. Accuracy has the best set bonus efficiency. So as a set bonus, accurate for any 2-piece set bonus, accuracy is the best. Straight up. Okay, so if you need some more accuracy, or resist for that matter, it's the best. It's the best to get it from the set bonus after your banner and your Great Hall. Okay, and crit rate has the worst set bonus efficiency. So crit rate as a set bonus is actually the worst, even worse than speed on the 91 base speed champ, a very low speed champ. Crit rate is still worse than a speed set. Worst 2-set bonus in the game. We'll check out the math in just a second here, okay? Before we get there, I just have a couple, like an example here, a couple examples of how you might use these kind of conclusions, right? So I'll try to do this kind of quickly, but if you have a champ where you are just trying to maximize the damage, like a Skull Crown or a Cold Heart, maybe a Royal Guard, okay? You have your priorities here. You want to get 100% crit rate. You want to maximize your crit damage. You want to get as much speed as possible, whatever that may be, and maybe around 200 accuracy for your Royal Guard or your Cold Heart, right? So you're landing on those level 20 dungeon bosses. So here's how you're going to get those stats. You're going to get all your crit rate from substats. Okay, you're going to need a few double rolls, maybe a triple roll would be great. But if you get your crit rate from substats, that's going to be the most efficient way to do this. Okay, the crit damage is going to come from maybe a crit damage set bonus. Okay, the gloves, of course, the amulet, right, and a little bit from masteries. But the point is, guys, crit damage sets are pretty good for these types of champions. As long as you got your accuracy that you need. Okay, speed is going to come from substats, maybe 1 set bonus. Okay, realistically, I would just recommend going speed boots for these types of champions, because getting the crit rate substats and the speed substats you need is going to be very difficult. We're talking really min-maxing here. Okay, so it's going to be a lot easier to get the speed of the boots. The speed substats doesn't give you that much of an edge. Okay, you're much better off focusing on the crit rate. Okay? And then your accuracy is going to come from your banner, Great Hall bonus. Once you got those two things maxed out, you're almost at 200 right there, plus masteries. If you need 1 set, throw 1 set in there, but you're going to try to maximize the crit damage. Okay, the other possibility you have is going for the, oh man, the name's escaping me right now. The ignored 25% defense 4-piece set. Is that the Savage, I believe? Okay. But I'm just talking where to get stats from here. Okay, and this is a way that you're going to min-max. Right. Another example quickly: Rosin, Nethril, Steel Skull, any kind of clan boss debuffer. You need 195 speed. You need about 250 accuracy, and then you want to maximize defense and HP. So again, you're going to go speed from substats and get 1 set bonus. Okay, here we're not as focused on crit. Okay, so accuracy is coming for your Great Hall banner, maybe a set bonus or 2, probably just 1, but maybe 2. You might get an odd accuracy substat, but again, you just don't want those like triple roll accuracy substats. Those pieces of gear are very inefficient. You're not getting a very good min-max efficiency out of those pieces. Okay, I just have to re-gear my Nethril for clan boss based on this finding, right? I'll be able to squeeze some more defense out of him because he is often one of the first ones to die. Okay, and then you're going to go defense percentage gloves, chest, and boots. Again, if you've got your speed from your substats. And then you're going to go like HP ring and amulet for those flat stats, or you can mix it up, go defense on one of those. But that's just kind of a couple examples of how to use this, okay? So let me know if you kind of agree or disagree. Stay tuned for 1 second. I'm going to, as quickly as possible, explain where I got these conclusions from and the math behind it, okay? Okay, guys, welcome back. So here's just a few numbers for you. I'm going to quickly explain these, and if you want any more explanation, just comment on the video. I'm happy to go back and take a look. But basically, I took Big Un here, okay, as an example. I've got his base stats right here, his base speed, attack, and HP. All right, so what this is looking at is, if we're looking at basically comparing these other stats, accuracy, crit rate, crit damage, and speed with attack. Okay, what this table at the top, all this over here, sorry, let me just introduce this first. All of this over here on the left side, this is just the stats that you get from each different slot. Okay, so primary stat would be from like chest, boots, gloves kind of thing, substat, set bonus, ring, amulet, banner. Okay, and these are the stats based on, you know, so as a primary stat, for example, right? You get 50% based on his base attack right there. Okay, so pretty simple. It's just showing you the total stats you get from each slot. Now for this, what I did is I used the median stat for 5-star gear. Okay, so for example, on a substat, basically that just comes into play with substats. For crit rate, you can roll anywhere from 4 to 6. So I just use 5 as the median. Okay, for accuracy, I believe it's 8 to 12 is the range for rolling, okay? Just based on your luck when you upgrade, okay? So anyways, here's the basic stats for each slot, and then here's what I've done. So in this top table here, each column kind of shows some of the efficiency you get, okay? What I've done is I've taken, okay, how much accuracy do you get from a primary stat here, okay, from a chess piece? And then I've divided that by, okay, how much attack you get from that same piece, okay? Just to see basically if I give up, so, and then I multiply by 100, okay? So basically what this tells you is if I give up 100 points of attack on my chess piece for Big Un, I will get 9.9 points of accuracy. Okay, so if we look kind of down the list here, you can see that's the very lowest efficiency. So that just basically confirms right there, 9.9 accuracy to per 100 attack on a chess piece is very inefficient. We know that, right? Accuracy is not a great efficiency on a chess piece. Here we can see the banner is by far the best. Okay, so we take the accuracy divided by attack times 100. We get huge efficiency from the banner. And then we can see accuracy as a set bonus is also pretty damn good for efficiency. And then as a substat, we are kind of caught in the middle here, but it's not very good, you can see. Okay, it's not very good. It's not optimal. Down to crit rate, what we get here is a ratio of 6.35 compared to your set bonus of 5. So you can see basically as a primary stat, crit rate from gloves is pretty good, and as a substat, it's pretty good. Okay, so basically you want to go for the substats because that leads, this crit damage is harder to get from other sources basically, right? Okay, so you can put the crit damage on the gloves, and then you can get the crit rate from the substats. You want to avoid crit rate substat, set bonuses rather. This should be probably like a red. I'm just doing this to show, right? Crit damage, we can see the best place to get it is from the amulet, obviously. The worst place to get it is as a substat, which is pretty significant if you look at the ratios between the other two. Okay, so if you give up 100 points of attack as a substat, you get 6.35 points of crit damage, whereas from a main stat or a set bonus, you get over 8 points per 100 attack, right? And then here we got speed. So as a substat, speed's the best. As a set bonus, it's the second best. And as a primary stat, it's not too far behind. So speed boots, again, are not like that far behind. And then you'll notice, guys, because Big Un has such a high base speed, the set bonus is going to be a little bit inflated here. I'll show you Rosin, who has a really low speed, and the set bonus ends up being basically the same as as a primary stat, right? Okay, just to give you an idea. Now, that's that. That's just comparing each stat to attack, right? Which is a little bit biased because it takes into account the champion's base attack, their main stat, whatever. The bottom table here, what this does is it compares each source of the stat to all the other sources. Okay, so what I've done here is looked at, okay, from a chess piece, look at the formula here, okay, if you want to check it out. From a chess piece, what I've done is I've taken, okay, how much attack do I get from a chess piece? And I've divided it by the average of all of the other sources of attack, okay? So compared to the average attack you get from any slot, a chess piece gives you 2.5 times the average, right? Or 250% of the average, which you would expect, okay? You get the most attack from a chess piece, which is like, okay, well, why is that useful? Obviously, the chess piece is going to have the highest number and yada, yada, yada. But what we're looking for here is we're looking across the rows, okay? So we're looking at efficiency compared to all other sources for each slot. This is where it gets a little bit interesting because we're basically cross-referencing the other kind of, it's all rough math. It's not, you know, not that scientific of a method, but it does kind of show the same results. Okay, so what this shows is as a primary stat, attack is your best bang for your buck. Normally, you're not going to run a roll attack gloves though, or anything like that. So that's just considering kind of compared to the other things. You can see here accuracy is the lowest for sure, and crit rate is pretty good. And then we have speed, crit damage, HP, kind of all in the middle in terms of what you get as a primary stat. Okay. I didn't do defense for Biggin. I'll show you Rosin's stats in a second. I did his too. As a substat, we can see the best substat efficiency is speed and attack. So that's just kind of reinforcing the fact that speed from substats is actually better than speed from other sources. Okay, it's actually the highest efficiency substat out of any substats. The lowest efficiency substat is crit damage. Second lowest, accuracy. Okay, so you want to try to avoid those if possible. And accuracy is a little better, but still not great. Set bonus. So we can see accuracy has the best set bonus here. Crit rate has the worst set bonus efficiency. Okay, and then speed, crit damage, HP, all pretty much in the same range. And attack is up there with accuracy, just because Biggin has a high base attack, so that set bonus is going to be based off his base attack. It's going to give you a good efficiency. Okay, so like for my Biggin, for example, what I've done is I've gone one accuracy set, one attack set. It's actually a cruel set, so you get the added benefit of ignore defense. And then I have one speed set on him because I use him for arena. I'm trying to get his speed up there. Right? And then you can see here, you know what to do with rings, amulets, and banners, right? Okay, so that's that. That's an explanation of where I got these conclusions from. Scarhide's over here. Here's Rosin here. Okay, he's got a really low base speed. Just to point a couple things out, right? So he's got a very low base speed compared to Biggin's 104. So what you'll notice here is the set bonus actually becomes the worst source for speed for like this type of champion, but the substat's still better than the primary stat for efficiency. Okay, you can kind of see that here as well. The substat's the best source for speed. And the set bonus for speed now is not very good. It's almost as bad as crit rate. Still not quite as bad as crit rate. So you can see the crit rate set bonus is bad, man. It's bad. It should really give you a 15% crit rate set bonus there. Okay, so you can kind of pause the video, take a look at the numbers now that you know how I came up with these for Rosin. But just to kind of compare, basically I've done this for a couple other champs too, and the conclusions are pretty much the same across the board. It's just a matter of how, to what degree is it more efficient. Okay, but those not so obvious conclusions I came up with, particularly the crit damage substat and the accuracy substat being bad efficiencies, were pretty surprising to me. What I would say is this is totally a min-max guide. So if you're in the mid game or even early end game, you're finishing your 20 dungeons and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm talking, I have finished all the content except for Faction Wars, and I got Arbiter, and I'm doing all the fusions as they come up. So if you're really trying to like tweak a couple of characters, and it's going to take a lot of dungeon farming to get the right pieces. But if you're really trying to maximize your efficiency, either on clan boss or to compete for a platinum arena, and you really want to squeeze the most stats possible, you can get an extra few percent on your crit damage or on your defense, whatever it is you're trying to get. Okay, you can squeeze a bit extra out by listening to these conclusions. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. If you see any holes in my logic, then just let me know, because we'll work together on this and figure this out. But I thought that this is not really common knowledge, and some of these guys who have been around for a while might benefit from this. All right. So that's it for me. Hope you have a good day, guys.